Boys and girls, welcome back to another video. Now, if you didn't see it in the last video, we looked at this EMG speed loader. Make sure you go check it out. It's actually a pretty cool product. It seems to work pretty well. But the gun that we're going to be looking at today is probably one of the very few guns where this would be absolutely useless. We don't need loaders. We don't need adapters. The magazines that it uses, I'm just going to open one here for you now because I've got a bunch of them, is quite unique looking. And many of you are probably going to know exactly what this is straight away. Look at this. This is a magazine. And you literally just pour the BBs in there, shove this in, and away it goes. It's wound, it's got a gear system. But what would turn that? I'm not too sure. Now, I've took a hiatus from electric guns for a while now. You guys know I predominantly sold a majority of my electric guns. I think I have a couple lying around. I'm just really went into the GBB world. And on this channel, I'm quite diverse with it. You know, we're looking at building, really nice, high-end AAPO1 builds, which you'll have seen with the Fuku 2 build. Then we jump into speed loaders, and now we're jumping in to this. This is a product by a company by the name of WellPro. I'm pretty sure they're probably connected to the company Well, who do, cheaper branded products. But this thing is, I haven't really seen anyone review this anywhere. I've seen one person on YouTube using this, which is Airsoft Next, I think it was. And this, boys and girls, is a minigun. And when I say minigun, it is mini. Now, WellPro produce so many different products in this range. There's so many you can get. You can get like chainsaw looking ones. You can get them mounted on tripods. I think they even leaked a picture on their Facebook page where there was a guy with a tripod mounted minigun which had double barrels, which, we're going to be covering that if that comes out. But this is the WellPro WE23 Mini. And they do a couple of different, like I say, they do many versions of this stuff. The one that you probably see mostly in UK stores is one where it mounts underneath your arm. You've got like a joystick controller with a trigger, and it straps to your arm, and you've basically got a minigun under your arm. This one's a little bit different and probably a little bit more usable. Look at this. WTF is the WE23 from WellPro. Is that not just the coolest thing that you've ever seen? This is ridiculous. Now, box-wise, very plain. Well packaged, loads of foam in here. I haven't come across any type of manual. I will check that in just a second. So let's get the minigun or the microgun or whatever you want to call it out the way. We get some different attachments. We've got like an arm brace that comes with it. And we've also got a little bipod grip, which is a very little mini M-LOK bipod grip. I quite like this actually. So we'll get that out here. I don't think there's anything else in this box. No destructibles. Nothing telling you this is what you do and this is what you don't do. Let's get this out of the way. Nondescript, all black. And we'll get to looking at this absolute beast of a microgun. Now, microguns, miniguns, whatever you want to call them, have been around for a while. Majority like HPA, unless you go all the way back to the Echo ones, which use that weird claw feeding system, which were so unreliable. You got the big Classic Army ones. You got the Classic Army microgun, which was like a little HPA one that you fired like this. Then they did one which was electric powered only. There was no HPA and it had like a switch so you could do 2 speeds. That one was much better. But even so, very quickly they were stepping up in price, and all of a sudden you're spending over £1,000 for something. These, however, they do bigger versions of it, which usually retail from about £600 to £700. You can get one like this that you mount under your arm, which would be good for like Juggernaut type games. Imagine running around with one of them on each arm. This is the Mini. So from what I can gather, you've got the WE23S, which is got like a weird pistol grip. It's like almost like a garden implement sort of, you know, pistol grip that comes out this way. It's dead weird. Those have 1200 round magazines. They do slightly bigger models, which have, I think, like 2000 or 2500 round magazines, and the Mini has a 600 round magazine. So these are rotary style magazines. Now, when I bought this, I picked it up and I bought a bunch of mags for it as well, because when I was watching Airsoft Next video and I was like, whoa, I need one of these. This is super cool. He was using one mag, so he was having to take it out in the field and like pour BBs in. I'm not about that life. I don't want to be doing that. I just want to be like switching a mag out and putting a new one in. So we'll open this up. I made sure buying this that I got, you know, quite a few of them. So I got 5 of these little drums in total. So plenty to keep it juiced up on the field. And this is a very simplistic system. So the Mini, again, is a smaller variant. You've got this really little cute sort of 5-barreled Gattling on the front here. You can turn these by hand and fire them manually, like so. You can hear them firing, which is going to be useful when chronoing it, if you get that far. And basically what this does is you have an AEG style motor that turns a little gearbox which spins the whole assembly inside. And the part that powers this is basically a drum of like 5 pistons, and as they turn round, there's like a bearing on the back of the piston which slides it up as it rotates. So, you know, if the barrel's just fired, as it goes round, there's like a ramp that pulls the piston back. So it's basically the simplest way you could create one of these things, pretty much similar to how the real one works. So yeah, very cool indeed. With this model, you've got a little stock on the back here which you can extend. It's not the most sturdy, so it is really, really wobbly, but you don't have to use it. It's just nice that it sort of folds away and it's out the way type thing. You get a brace in the package, and with this brace, what you can do here is you just slide this on, pull the little wheel at the back there, and that locks into place. Now, with that in place, you can still use it. To be honest, it helps you, it puts pressure on the bottom of your hand, so it helps you have the weight. So you literally could use this as a pistol. It's not heavy at all. When you extend the stock, you can put your arm through it like this if you really wanted to sort of like carry 2 of them, or just have it, maybe you have this for the longer engagements and it, you know, frees up your offhand to have a pistol if you're going indoors or stuff like that. You know, this brace, I'll probably never ever use it. It would be nice if the stock, you know, maybe if the stock didn't come out as far and it was a little bit more sturdy. But these things, you know, they go out for a price. Now, this is the cheapest model I think that they do. So this is, I think I found one store selling it for $350. So 350 quid can get you a Gatling gun, which they're meant to have an insane rate of fire. So you got your fire selector here, safe and fire, which is ambidextrous. The magazine release, I suppose you could say, is ambidextrous because it's just a button on the front and you sort of just rock it up into position and push it up like that. With the barrels, each barrel has its own independent hop unit. So as I turn this here, the old ones, the old models that I can tell had like little grub screws, which was very hard to tell where the grub screw is. You've got little indications there, so that's barrel number 4. There's 5 lines there, so that's barrel number 5. Now, you'd have to carefully turn this to get it to that point. And then you have a wheel, and it's got numbers on it. So let's turn this wheel here. So we've got 0, 3, 6, and 9. So you'll be able to go, right, I'm using 2s or 2 5s or whatever. Set each barrel to the same setting, and then away you go. And if it's not enough, you can click them all up in the same way, and you know exactly where each barrel is. I much prefer this design to what I've seen in the older ones with the grub screw. It's very, very nice indeed. So you might be thinking, where do you put the battery in this thing? So the motor is actually housed straight up vertical like that. You have a motor adjustment screw on the top. Like I say, this is a very simple system, probably the simplest system out there that I've seen for miniguns. So this is a 1300 milliamp 11.1 stick LiPo. Now it's a little bit long, so you'd have to use a slightly shallower battery, but we're just gonna give this thing a quick go. So we'll hold this out for now. I think, yeah, it's just a little bit too shallow, so you're gonna have to be careful on what batteries you pick. You could have one very much fatter. You just have to be a little bit, shorter in length. So we're going to give this a go now. I have no idea how this fires. I took it out of the box as you guys have seen it. This is the first time for me seeing it in person as well. So let's give this thing. Safety obviously works. We're going to have a micro switch on the fire button, and hopefully this isn't too loud for your headphone users out there, but here we go. It's not actually that loud. That has got to be one of the most satisfying sounds I've ever heard from an electric gun. That is so cool. Now, if we were to be a little bit silly and plug a bigger battery pack on it, because I don't know how charged that battery pack is, will this increase the rate of fire? Let's see. Yeah. And, I don't know what the gears are made out of. Like I say, it's a normal AG motor with a pinion and a special gearbox to turn this whole assembly. But you can see there, putting the slightly higher powered battery pack, that is quite a substantial rate of fire there, which is what you want from a minigun. My biggest, criticism of the classic armies, both with the HPA and the electric one, you could, with the HPA one, I think it was, you could upgrade to the faster motor, but they were always just a bit blah, 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 blah. There was no like excitement there. They were cool, but they were also pretty limp as well. So yeah, pretty simple design. You take your magazine, you take some BBs, let's use these for demonstration. You tip your BBs in. It takes 600 rounds, so I imagine you just fill it to the 600 mark and don't go much past that. And you pop this in there, and this just clips into place. Now, I might have overfilled it a little bit. That's something you're going to have to be mindful of. Just take a few out. There we go. And I was quite concerned that this was going to pop off, but you do have to press these tabs in for it to release. It might have been a little bit nice to have it screw in, but hey ho, it seems to work, and it doesn't really seem to spit the BB. You can see the BBs there are ready to go. We can actually turn this by hand. I'm not sure which way it's meant to go. Whether it's meant to go forwards or there we go. That's the way it's meant to go. So you'll see as that spins, as the barrels are spinning, this feeds the rounds up. And what that means is, whatever speed the barrels are doing, the magazine's going to be doing the same speed to keep up. Now, I'm not going to be firing this in the workshop today. I will be doing some firing demonstration for you guys, but I really don't fancy throwing 600 rounds at like 30-40 rounds a second in this small room. It just sounds to me like a recipe for disaster. But I wanted to show you guys how cool this thing is. Each barrel has its own thread. Now, from what I can tell, this barrel on this model, the Mini, this is like the profile of the barrel is closer together. So this one's smaller than like the S and the L and the X and the H, or however many models they have. But behind each protector, you have a thread. And it is a counterclockwise thread. It doesn't look 14mm to me. It looks a little bit too small. But we can test this. I did see on WellPro's Facebook page they were doing a tracer unit for the big models, but this one is smaller. So I do have a little flash hider here, so that to me looks like it's going to be like, I don't know, 11, 12 mil, which is usually what you get on tracers. I do have a bunch of tracers somewhere. Blaster, Bifrost. Sure, I had like a mini one. Now I don't use tracers because one of the main things at like weekend games and stuff, they give you position away, and I like to be a little bit more stealthy than that. So if you've got pistol threaded tracers, I think this is what this is going to be. The way the system works is pretty much the same across the whole board of models from WeldPro. But like I say, there is going to be a size difference. This barrel does, to me, look like it's a lot, more compact than the other models that they do. So I thought I'd share this with you guys. I saw this on one of the websites and I was like, oh my God, I really don't need it, but I've got to have it type thing. And I have stepped away from electric, your generic electric guns. But I think this just could be a load of fun, It will kind of depend on the site that you're going to, that if they allow it. Now, it is, to me, I would class this as like a support gun. They are meant to be quite low powered, so sort of around about 0.8 joules, I think it is. So I can't really see a problem with it, doing it in bursts. There's obviously videos of the people using this thing in Europe, and they're just like full auto in absolutely everything. Just making sure these caps are tight so the end doesn't fall off. But I think this could just be a good fun gun. Maybe if you're not feeling, all the support products that you need for GVRs, like taking your gas, your special loaders, an absolute bunch of mags. I think it would be cool just to take this to a field and go, this is what I'm going to use for the day, and just pour your, you haven't got to use any BB speed loaders or anything like that. Just pour your BBs in, set your 5 mags, what I've got for this, and just away you go. I need to hear that noise again. I need to hear it. And how fucking cool is that? We're going to have to take a look inside this thing and see what makes it tick. And my style as well. I don't really feel like don't get me wrong, for some people this is probably going to be a little bit expensive, but for me, compared to most of my GBBRs are well over £1,200–1,500 each. So this is something that is very inexpensive to me. I'm in a fortunate position to say that. So I would like to sort of make this my own and maybe do some barrel front ends. There's a minigun that was on display at SHOT Show in like 2019, where it had this hex barrel that looked really cool. So maybe that's something that I do. You have got M-lock slots on this handguard all the way around there. It comes with 3 rails. You've got a rail along the top there for your optics, which I'd probably say definitely use one. You've got an M-lock grip here. Do I have the correct Allen key handy to put this on? Yes, I do. So we could pop this on here. This comes with the minigun itself. And yeah, I just thought this was super wacky, something a little bit different. Like I say, I'm not delving back into the world of electric guns unless, I think I did say a while ago, unless something was, very unique and I just had to talk about it. And I think this does tick that box. So they give you this grip, and to be honest, that is really comfortable. And then you pop it down. That'll help you store it, when you're in the safe zone. I think the one thing you're going to have to be careful on this thing is, just before I wrap up this video, is from what I've seen from other videos, there is a possibility once you've took the mag out for there to be BBs, chambered in this. So what I would say is take the mag out and just, make sure you shoot it plenty. Make sure there's no BBs left in the reservoir. Maybe even just set it to safe and take the battery out where you go in the safe zone, because the last thing you want to do is have a negligent discharge with a minigun. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of this thing. I think it's just really cool, and I think we could have some fun with this when I finally get out to some games. And not really convinced I'll use the stock. I think I'd use it more of just like a point and shoot type thing. Now it does have iron sights built into the top rail, but just have a red dot on it and just dual hand it like that. I think, you know, most of the time you're going to be firing it from your chest, just putting some fire down, letting the guys in your team get to where they need to go. But I think this could be an absolute blast. So thanks for tuning into this video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the links in the description below if you would be so kind. Thank you for the support. The support on the EMG speedloader video was absolutely phenomenal. Thank you all for that. And as always, from me and from Bench, we'll see you in the next video.